What's going on, guys? It's NYPrepper here, and I wanted to just explain to you guys my catchphrase. If there's anybody new to my channel, I wanted to just kind of explain to you when I say the 3 P's, prepare, practice, and persevere. I wanted to just talk about what that actually means, and wanted to just talk about the mental aspect of prepping, which a lot of preppers overlook, is the mental aspect of prepping. And I wanted to just talk about that a little bit. I'm out here on my lunch break on the beautiful and historic Hudson River, and you can see some guys over there in jet skis, and there's an old sailboat out there, and this is just my local town park over here. And what you see in the back over there are the Catskills, the eastern Catskills, and those mountains are about 3,000 to 4,000 feet in height. Some of them get over 4,000 feet, and right now there's a high tide over here, so the water's really high actually, but it's absolutely beautiful day today. It's dry, it's not humid, it's probably in the 70s right now, and later on I'm going to do some fishing. And you know, the Hudson River is actually a very historic river. You know, a lot of very important battles took place here during the Revolutionary War. You know, the Battle of Saratoga, and then you had you know, West Point is not far from here. So you know, the Hudson River is a critical location during the Revolutionary War. You know, the Hudson River was critical for the colonists in defeating the British. It was a critical area, but I wanted to just quickly discuss the 3 P's and talk about the 3 P's and what they mean. And so you guys often hear me say prepare, practice, and persevere at the end of my videos. And you know, obviously you have preparing. So the first P is prepare, right? So when I say prepare, I mean stockpiling food and water, ammo, guns, gadgets, you know, any kind of supplies that you think you would need, batteries, flashlights, fuel, generators, things like that, spare tires, you know, chainsaws, you know, things like that, reloading equipment. You know, that's when I say prepare, that's what it means. You know, you're stocking up on your preps. All right, that's the prepare part of the 3 P's. Then the second P is practice, right? So you have all your preps, you have all your gear and your gadgets, your food, your ammo, your guns. You have all your preps, but you also need to practice with them. You know, if you have a bug out bag, if you have a get home bag, an inch bag, you actually have to go out there and practice with that stuff. You know, you can't just buy a bunch of gear and throw it in a closet and then expect to throw everything on when shit hits the fan, and then, you know, go out there and succeed with that gear, because you don't know if that gear works. You haven't tested it. You don't know if it fits you well. You know, you haven't mastered the skills to use that gear. So let me give you an example. Let's say you buy yourself a pistol or a shotgun or an AR-15, you know, because you know that bad times are coming, possible second wave or economic collapse. You buy yourself a rifle or a pistol, but you never actually practice with it, you know. So what good is that? You know, what good is it that you have that rifle but you don't actually practice with it? So practicing is important. And then the final aspect is persevering. You know, once you've stocked up on your preps and you've practiced with your gear and really mastered your preps, and, you know, practiced a lot with them. You know, even though you've practiced with your gear, you know, let's say you've gone to the range and spent many weeks at the range, many weekends, you know, let's say you spent your entire summer at the range, you know, going to the range every weekend. You know, you've practiced with all your weapons, your pistol, your rifle, your shotgun, your hunting weapons, you know, your bug out bag, your get home bag. You know, you've practiced with it. You know how to use it, you're comfortable with it, you know that it fits you and everything works the way it's supposed to. you know, that doesn't mean that you're prepped. You know, that doesn't mean that you're ready for SHTF. You know, that just means that you have the tools and supplies and you have the skills to deal with SHTF, but that doesn't ensure that you're gonna, you know, survive SHTF or thrive during SHTF. You know, it's just like, you know, if let's say you enlist in the military, okay? You enlist in the military, they train you, they give you the best training and the best gear that money can buy. You know, let's say you want to become a Navy SEAL, you know, you go into BUDS training, and you go through one of the most hardest training in the world for the military. You know, you have all the supplies. The military hooks you up with night vision goggles and, you know, thousands and thousands of dollars worth of gear, and you've trained hours and hours with that gear, and then they deploy you to a combat zone. Does that mean that you're going to survive combat and you're going to come back in one piece? No, not necessarily. Does that mean that because you have the best training and the best gear that the US military can give you, does that mean that you're going to come back from war not damaged? Or, you know, no, it doesn't. You know, you still actually mentally have to persevere. Even with all the best training and all the best equipment, you still have to mentally persevere, you know, and that's why the final P in the 3 Ps is persevere. You know, so you have to actually persevere through SHTF. You know, a lot of preppers, they think that I'm just going to buy, you know, 2 years worth of food and a bunch of ammo and some weapons and, you know, go to the range once in a while and I'm good to go. It doesn't mean that you're going to survive or thrive, you know. It doesn't mean anything. You know, you still have to mentally persevere through SHTF. You actually have to apply your skills, and you actually have to have the mental toughness to survive, you know. And SHTF is going to test everybody. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you're rich, poor, black or white, or brown or green or blue. It doesn't matter what your background is, whether you're military, non-military, whatever your jobs are and your life experiences. It's going to test all of us, you know, and we're going to all have to mentally persevere through SHTF. So, and that's one aspect that a lot of guys overlook is, you know, they're so focused on the practicing and the preparing part, you know, of the 3 Ps, the prepare and the practice. They're so focused on that, you know, tactical drills, stockpiling food, but they don't stop to think that, do I have the mental toughness and the willpower to survive, you know, or am I gonna, you know, as soon as I don't have a hot shower for 2 or 3 days, I'm gonna start to freak out, you know. And these are things that we all need to ask ourselves. And also you can do mental toughness exercises, you know. You can train yourself to be more mentally tough, you know. There's things you can do. You can go out in extreme conditions without, you know, being fully clothed and feel the cold air on your body or feel the heat, you know, and mentally persevere. Putting yourself through difficult situations will build your mental toughness. Now, I'm not suggesting that you do anything that will endanger your life, but you can do mental toughness exercises. But, you know, the bottom line is, even if you've prepped, even if you've practiced, you still have to persevere, you know, and that's a huge part of prepping. And I've done a video a long time ago when I first started this channel 2 years ago, or even 3 years ago now. I talked about, you know, the will to survive will beat the skills to survive, you know. So what that means is that you can have the best training and all the best wilderness skills, survival skills, tactical skills, combat skills, hand-to-hand. You know, you could be a UFC fighter, you could be a world-class boxer, but if you don't have the willpower to survive a situation, it doesn't matter what your skills are. And we've actually seen in different survival situations, we've seen people who have minimal skills or no skills at all, and no equipment, and they've survived for weeks and weeks in extreme conditions just because they told themselves that I'm not going to die here, I'm going to survive, I'm going to do whatever it takes. And that's the kind of mentality that you need to survive SHTF, because, you know, let's say you spent hours and hours training with your AR-15, but let's say what happens if your AR-15 fails, or you don't have access to any weapons at all. You know, you have to be able to adapt, and you need that willpower. You know, the willpower is the most important thing. It's more important than, you know, how many rounds of ammo you have and how many hours at the range you've spent, you know, and how many shots you've fired at the range, you know. Your willpower is the most important thing. That's what makes us the most dangerous predator on the planet. Is not because of our gear, it's because of our mind and our mental willpower and our ingenuity, our adaptiveness, and being able to adapt to different situations. That's more important than what kind of stuff you stockpiled, you know. But you need to have mental toughness. You need to be able to be able to you know, go through painful situations without being rattled, and you need to be able to persevere through difficult times, because that's SHTF is going to test us all. So, you know, willpower is essential. And there was cases where I think recently I read a story of a woman. She was hiking somewhere in the Rocky Mountains, and she got lost in bear country, and you know, nothing but bears and wolves around her, and she had nothing. She, you know, very minimal gear. She didn't have any firearms. She didn't even have a knife, and somehow she survived. I think she like hid in the brush so predators wouldn't smell her, and she would just eat berries and scavenge for berries and stuff like that. And she survived for weeks like that before she was found, you know. And to me, that's willpower. That's mental toughness, you know. Got to have that willpower. That's the most important thing. And in our society today, you know, we're so used to everything being so easy. You know, most Americans are soft. You know, I hate to say it, but Americans today compared to Americans during World War II or the Great Depression is no comparison. I mean, we have everything so comfortable here. You know, we have indoor thermostats. If we get cold, we just turn the heat up. If we get hot, we turn the AC on. You know, we've never really had major struggles, and we haven't had, you know, to really mentally persevere through extreme situations like our ancestors. So that's what worries me a lot about SHTF. But so I wanted to just quickly explain that to you guys. And you know, don't forget, the last P of the 3 P's is the most important. That's persevering, mental toughness. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. God bless. And don't forget the 3 P's. Prepare, practice, and persevere.